This is going to be a demonstration of priming a Hydratube pump, and you will be priming the hydraulic side of the pump as well as the chemical side or the intermediate head side. These must both be primed in a certain process in order for this pump to work accurately. We are going to start with the hydraulic prime, which will come first. Okay, so I've set my stroke to 100%. I have turned the coupling by hand so that I know that my piston is fully rearward to allow for the most room in the cylinder to receive oil. I know this because the housing top is pivoted all the way forward. I've removed my bleeder as well as the plug for the Hydratube head, and I've inserted a pipette which I will use as a reservoir for the oil. Now I'm going to start to fill this reservoir with oil. Okay, we'll start there. Now I'm going to turn the coupling by hand so that the housing will start rocking, the piston will come forward, and I will start to force air out of the space in the head behind the dish and the diaphragm, and it will introduce oil into that chamber. I'm going to do this a bunch of times to get all of the air out. Okay, as you can see, I'm putting this through rotations of the piston now, and I'm not really getting any more air out other than a couple little bubbles. So this is just about set to go, and I'm ready to stop with the priming process. So what I want to do is I want to bring that piston all the way forward. Now to do that, I'm going to turn the coupling again and make sure that the housing is rocked all the way back to its rearmost position right there, which tells me that the piston is now fully forward, and now I can remove the pipette and I can reinstall my bleeder valve. Okay, I have reinstalled the bleeder, and I'm letting the pump run a little bit just to get any residual air bubbles worked out of the hydraulic system. And I want you to note that if I look down through the Hydratube, there's no motion. It is not moving. That is because the flat diaphragm and the Hydratube diaphragm are not in sync. That will be the next process. We are going to sync those up. As I said before, when we did the hydraulic side and we installed the bleeder valve, we had the piston pushed all the way forward. Now what we want to do is we want to move that piston all the way back so that we'll pull the diaphragm, the flat diaphragm, back a little bit. There we go. We want this flat diaphragm to actually come back a little bit, and that will put the Hydratube in the relaxed state. And now what we will do with that condition is we will fill the Hydratube with, in this case, sodium glycol. Okay, I've got a bottle of sodium glycol here, and I'm just going to fill that up now. I want to fill it to the top. And then once I get it to the top, I'm going to take a rubber mallet and I'm going to tap the head a little bit just to knock any air bubbles that may be trapped in there and get them to rise to the surface. There we go. So now I will tap this with a hammer a little bit just to see if I can force any air bubbles to the surface. Okay, not hard, gently. With that done, I will top off, make sure that's full, and then I will reinsert my plug and I will tighten that down. Okay, I have tightened down the plug for the Hydratube head. So I have filled my hydraulics, I've brought the piston back, I've filled up my Hydratube head and I've reinserted the pin or the plug. So now, if all goes well, this pump should work. So I'm going to turn the power on real quick. And if I look down into my hole now, I can see that the tube is compressing and my two diaphragms are in sync with each other, and this pump will now pump. Thank you.